I bet she gets killed here as she tries to open up about it. Bruh, you literally, if you wouldn't, we could have. Why do you do that? I knew it was gonna happen, but for the love of God, if you would have just said Susan from down the street immediately, but no, you couldn't say that because you had to bait us. So today we're breaking down Witch Watch. Haven't been here for a little bit, but we're finally back. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around here, and of course we got the Patreon where you got those full live reactions to all of these episodes and other exclusives if you're so interested. So let's jump into this bad boy. Now, had this been a one-core anime, episode 12 is the perfect stopping point. Like it ties up a nice bow on the current arc. Yes, there's still more to do, more danger to explore, but all in all, like, that's a satisfactory stopping point. But there's one thing I'll never forgive, and it's when anime do this, and I get why they do it. I mean, all in all, it's smart for the villain to put in safeguards. If they try to spill the beans, they blow up, they die, cyanide pill, whatever it is, right? And I've seen it dozens and dozens and dozens of times throughout every medium. Video games, live action TV, movies, anime, you name it, I've seen it. And it never gets easier. I think at this point a blind man could have saw that death coming with old Biddy. And maybe had she just said Susan from down the street right away. She didn't go the, I'm gonna tell you who it is now. Maybe if you even start to say the word, the syllable, the sound of what the name is, she would have just blew up right then and there anyway. But until I see a damn show or story in general go the route of being like, Bob did it, you know, just immediately blurt out the name. Until I see someone immediately just say, you know what, I'm not gonna give them the chance to blow me up before I spill the beans. I'm just gonna assume the entire reason this always happens is because they took too goddamn long. Because could you imagine, right? Like, let's just say Bob is the mastermind, right? Bob could have been eating a sandwich for the first 30 seconds of that. He could have been like, oh, is everything okay over there? Okay, I'm just gonna eat this. But because we rambled for an extra 15 seconds, he's like, well, that bitch is trying to, she dead. The funniest thing, too, is I didn't realize it, but, you know, when I see that she's, like, this tall, she's like Stuart Little, right? Initially, my boy just is, like, smacking the little, pot she's flying in. My immediate reaction, and maybe this says a lot about me, I don't know, but I thought to myself, just squish her. Just step on her like a cockroach, like, brutally stomp on her. Evil witch, right? I mean, why, like, to me, I'm thinking, why give them the chance to screw us over? And probably, to be fair, it's twofold why you wouldn't want to do that. One, you probably want information on who they work for. And two, turns out, had we immediately killed old Biddy, Kegel would have died too. Whoops, that one's on me. Now, when they ended last week's episode with the reveal that he was a werewolf betrayer, I thought to myself, oh. Well, me, okay, that's unfortunate. Didn't see that coming at all. Zero. If you actually pointed a gun to my head and say, was there, like, what was your thought of him ever betraying? 0%. Zero. The only character I would have ever thought had a chance of screwing us over is Khan. But they quickly established that he wasn't here just to be like a third wheel trying to steal away Nico. He immediately, like, lowered it to 0% threat as well. So I never really got the impression that someone was going to ever screw us over. But I do like what they did in terms of reasoning. The idea that it was all for his mother. So they start establishing about this car accident. And then it turns out mom can't walk anymore. And obviously he feels guilty because had she not been driving him to whatever sporting event it was, you know, they never would have been in an accident. The fact that not only did Nico give this, like, cure-all medicine, which she very well could need in the future, given the threat didn't go away after old Biddy died. Very selfless. I really respected that, and honestly it was beautiful. Though it's kind of messed up that as soon as mom got her legs back, she abandoned her kid. Now granted, she's doing her work, but I'm not twisting it that much. It's, you go from heart-touching, like, damn, what a beautiful family. Oh, she's gone already? Damn, she really did feel locked up in that apartment. Though it's hilarious to think that Moy is running an orphanage at this point, because, everyone's moving in. If we don't have the cat girl move in within the next few episodes, I'll be incredibly disappointed. Though I guess you could honestly say that because she acts like a cat half the time, the fact that the cat has multiple homes just already kind of works, so, you know, that's kind of funny. But in general, been pretty good stuff recently. The show doesn't really do that well on my channel, hence why I hadn't been talking about it that much, but I knew I was like, because originally last week I was going to come up here and talk about it, but then when I realized it was a part 1, I was like, oh no, I'm going to wait for the whole thing to be over. And in general, I just leave very satisfied. I think for a lot of anime watchers who are watching Witch Watch, who don't keep up to date with how many episodes are coming out, I think probably half the people watching this show are going to assume this was a season finale. And are going to be incredibly surprised when come next week, episode 13's in their queue. Or maybe 2 weeks from now. I don't know if they're doing an episode next week. Sometimes they like to do a little week break after. Either way, there's more coming. It's my question, I guess, slight concern. This would have been a beautiful stopping point. I'm hoping 24, or whatever the last episode is going to have as good of a stopping point as what this episode delivered. Because it was really good. And to be honest, I like the friendship bonding between everyone. I like that Moy was honestly, you know, upset by the betrayal. And he's like, bitch, what the... I have trouble making friends, damn it, and you screw me over. It was almost like a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on there. And I like the fact that there was genuine friendship despite the using and manipulation that was going on. He had a genuine reason for doing it, and he didn't come across as a scumbag, right? Like, it's like, okay, you know, like, he got forced into something, and honestly... wanting to cure your mom's legs, and I mean, it's not like you could have just went over to Nico and said, hey, can you cure her legs? Like, we try to do the most basic magic half the time, and someone ends up with a bobblehead for a cranium, you know? Like, there's a lot of negativity, and, you know, the fact that she went out of her way to heal the mom, I thought it was touching as hell. I don't know, I really like this show. I don't know how many more videos I'll do on the main channel, mainly because new anime season be approaching. It will depend on what's coming out if I have the space for it. Maybe I'll just do the odd video on YouTube here and there. I don't know, but in case, you know, people are like, did you drop Witch Watch? No. I always say this. Patreon. I can advertise it no matter what. Patreon. I do it over there. Before Patreon, I would just watch it on my own. Now Patreon exists, and, you know, stuff that doesn't do that great on the channel I can do over there. But, you know, if an episode's real good or something, or I have the spot, we might continue it on here, but just know, like, that's just how it's gotta be, right? I can only do so much of just what I want to do before it starts negatively affecting other things. And, you know, sadly, this one just didn't do that well on the channel. Even though sometimes the views looked alright, the watch time wasn't really that great. So, you know, you can do your best. You can drop likes, comments, you know, try to get the video doing really well, but, it's probably not continuing into the next season. But stranger things have happened. Let me know what you thought, though. What did you think of this arc and, honestly, the show over the past 12 episodes? I think they did a hell of a good job, and I'm very happy that they're continuing. So, let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And yes, Patreon, where the full live reactions exist, and hey, I give other exclusives like video shoutouts. So today we got Icio Sesdiro, Michael Meadows, Sleepfish, Wayne Delquist, Juicium, Marco Sun, Huron12, Sean Cafferkey, Dragon Mom, Ryan Kahalili, and we also have Jessica L. Compton. So I appreciate the support. Please take care, and you all have a good one.